Cannabis companies were significantly impacted during the pandemic. Many facilities remained open for the duration of the pandemic as essential businesses, but they still experienced partial governmental shutdown of certain services. And while other businesses were eligible for the SBA-funded and administered Paycheck Protection Program, also known as PPP, cannabis businesses were excluded from PPP relief since cannabis cultivation and sales are still not legal under federal law. Simply, even state legal cannabis businesses were unable to affirm on the SBA PPP application that their operations do not violate federal law. Alternative relief was made available during the pandemic and still exists. Cannabis businesses that experience fully or partially suspended operations due to pandemic-related governmental orders still have the opportunity to access cash relief in a refundable employee payroll tax credit, the Employee Retention Credit, also known as ERC. The ERC, as a payroll tax credit, doesn't implicate Internal Revenue Code 280E, which prohibits cannabis businesses from deducting ordinary business expenses from gross income. Rather, the ERC is a payroll tax credit which results in a refund on the employer's Form 941. With credits often exceeding the initial payroll tax liabilities themselves, the ERC has already awarded millions of dollars to a broad spectrum of employers, including cannabis businesses. One of the greatest aspects of this program is its setup as a grant, not a loan, and there are no limits to how you use the funds. You can increase payroll, benefits to employees, invest into marketing, new locations, R&D for new products, and so much more. Your mind is your only limitation on how the funds are used. Think about what that could mean for your business. As you can see, some of the most well-known brands in the cannabis space have already filed for their employee retention tax credits, many receiving millions of dollars back in refunds. If your company is eligible and meets the IRS guidelines, our attorneys will have 100% confidence in being able to file for these credits on your behalf, as well as offer full legal representation in the unlikely event of any future audit. Launched in March 2020, the ERC remains one of the biggest relief opportunities and can be up to $26,000 per eligible W-2 employee during 2020 and 21, which is available to businesses that have been negatively impacted by the pandemic. And even for those businesses already beginning to recover, employers can retroactively claim the ERC based on hardships experienced during 2020 and the first 3 quarters of 21. Employers should also remember that cannabis businesses that started up after February 2020 may qualify under specific ERC provisions that can provide up to $100,000 in refundable credits in 2021. Let's go over the ERC eligibility. Employers in cannabis industry are typically eligible because government orders restricted their operations. Common examples of this include, but are not limited to, capacity limitations on the number of individuals in their waiting or service, orders prohibiting deli-style sales, orders prohibiting sniff jars, orders permitting only curbside transactions and delivery, mandated time-consuming disinfecting procedures. Note that orders creating qualifying partial suspensions were more common than many employers and tax practitioners realize. Most cannabis businesses did not experience a loss of revenue as many experience partial or full suspensions, but we want to cover it for those that may have. In determining eligibility, both operational impacts and revenue deductions are considered, and it can be either or, it does not have to be both. In order for employers in the cannabis industry or any industry as a matter of fact to be eligible, they must show the business suffered a reduction in gross receipts. For tax year 2021, which includes quarters 1, 2, and 3, the employer's gross receipts must have declined by 20% or greater compared to the same calendar quarter of 2019. For tax year 2020, which includes quarters 1 through 4, the employer's gross receipts must have declined by 50% or greater compared to the same calendar quarter of 2019. Whether or not Congress implements other forms of pandemic-related relief for the cannabis industry, the ERC remains available now. Numerous government orders restricted a broad range of ordinary business operations in the industry, and you may be one of many employers entitled to substantial cash benefits. If you operate a cannabis business, don't wait to find out if you qualify. Contact our team by clicking on the Check Eligibility button, completing your brief questionnaire, and scheduling a call with one of our ERC eligibility experts. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we look forward to working with you, and hopefully we can get you some money back.